Take a breath. Welcome to Space to Exhale, the podcast, weekly inspiration for self-love and soft living. I am your host, Lisa Hurley. I'm a 3-time Anthem Award winner, Reiki master, and community builder. And I'm the author of the book, Space to Exhale. Through healing modalities like breathwork, affirmations, and meditations, I'll guide you on a life-changing journey to help you know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and create much-needed space to exhale. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Space to Exhale, the podcast, a safe, serene sanctuary where we focus on high vibrations, affirmations, soft living, and self-care. As you know, I'm your host, Lisa Hurley, author of Space to Exhale, a handbook for curating a soft, centered, serene life. And I'm here to help us all do just that. Relax, take a breath, say no to hustle culture, and yes to a life of ease. My hope and dream is for us all to curate lives that we don't feel we need a break from. And today I am joined by my sister friend, Dr. Kathryn Tapper. And I am so excited. Let me add her to stage while I read her bio. And then we'll get into it. But I heart her. Okay, so Dr. Kathryn Tapper, affectionately known as Dr. K-Tap, is a Mayo Clinic trained physician, emotional fitness coach, and wellness leadership speaker with over 10 years of experience in the health and wellness industry. She is committed to guiding high-achieving women from the overwork and burnout to alignment and authentic leadership. I love that. Welcome, Kathryn.
Oh, Lisa, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to be here too. I'm excited you're here. And oh my gosh, if only people knew the shenanigans
The shenanigans that happened last year.
last year. It was such a wonderful moment in both our lives to actually be able to connect in person.
Yes.
And it's always great when, you meet somebody virtually and then you meet them in person, you're like, oh my gosh, they're the same person. In fact, they're even better.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
There's one word that sums up that time together.
Yeah.
And the word that comes to mind is alignment. It really does.
Complete and total alignment.
Yeah.
And so I know that you've thank you for this. You've listened to a few of the podcasts before. So you know how we start.
Yes.
We start with taking a moment to exhale. We get ourselves grounded. And so let us close our eyes, and everybody who's listening in, whether you're team live or team replay, this is our moment to exhale. So close your eyes, relax your shoulders, just nod your head slightly from side to side, left to right. Get as relaxed as you can. And now inhale through your nose and exhale. And one more time, inhale and exhale. And last time, inhale and deep exhale. Okay. And then before we get into the show, every show we choose an affirmation that we focus on. It's for me, and in this case, me and Kathryn to focus on. Is also for everybody that's listening, for you to keep in your mind. And today we are talking about the real glow up, soft living as self-care. So today's affirmation is, I am grateful to be living a peaceful, principled, productive life that is soft and nurturing to my spirit. And so that is my wish. Right? Right? That's my wish for you, for me, for Kathryn, for everybody, right? A peaceful, principled, productive life that is soft and nurturing. I mean, who doesn't want that, right?
Exactly.
Who does
Exactly.
not want that?
Yes.
And Miss Kathryn, aka Dr. K Tap,
Right?
um, my Jamaican friend. We're gonna start there because obviously, like I have a Barbadian accent, but a lot of people don't know I was actually born in Jamaica. So
Mhm.
I don't know if Jamaica claims me, but I claim Jamaica.
We claim you, Lisa. We claim you.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So let's talk a little bit about Jamaica in terms of how did it shape your understanding, when you were growing up there, of wellness, womanhood, worth, soft living, even if you might not have called it that then. Like how
Right.
did it shape the person that you are now and the beliefs you have now?
Yes. Childhood in Jamaica has always been something that I have valued,
Mm-hmm.
set the foundation for how I live and how I show up today.
Right.
For example, my mom, she valued and depicted service on so
Mm,
many levels. And I have been able to show up in that way of service to other people. One
mm-hmm.
of the reasons why I became a physician, one of the reasons I am a coach, one of the reasons that I speak. But the value of giving to other people
Mm-hmm.
was very, very important in the household in which I grew up in. And the other thing that was also big was structure and discipline, as you probably know, being from the Caribbean, right?
Listen, we can't get away from it. It is what it
No,
is.
we can't get away from
And I'm
it.
not mad at it either. Like
No,
it's useful. It's useful.
it is.
Yes.
Maybe at the time didn't find it as useful, but growing up, you go back in time and you realize, oh, as you mentioned in the affirmations, the principled part stuck out to me. So
Yes.
peaceful, principled, and productive.
Mm-hmm.
But how much of us really understand what principles means and where we get our values from? And so
Right.
for me, growing up in the Caribbean and also going to school, to Catholic school, where we had a lot
Mm-hmm.
of structure and discipline on top of it, we were taught how to really treat others well and in the process treat ourselves well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am so happy that I grew up in the Caribbean. I would not change a
That
thing about it. I
no,
really feel that, and it changes, especially if, like us, you move from the Caribbean and then, whether it is you go to the States or the UK or Canada or wherever,
yeah,
but you move through life differently if you have grown up, if your formative years have been spent in the Caribbean. It
yes,
absolutely changes who you are, how you move through the world, and your views of about life, really, you
yeah.
know?
Absolutely.
Um,
One of the things too that I do want
mhm.
to mention is the focus on community just in the Caribbean. We
Oh,
all
yeah.
know, right? We all know the phrase, it takes a village.
Hmm.
And to experience growing up in a village
Right?
is unforgettable and well appreciated, for sure.
Hmm.
For
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah. I definitely felt like if, not felt, I mean, you knew, basically every adult, essentially, that was not your immediate family, was your auntie, your uncle, whoever, and you had to address them as such, mind you,
Correct.
whether
Exactly.
whether or not, or by their, Mr., Mrs., whatever, but
Yes.
usually it was auntie and uncle.
Mm-hmm.
But adults took real interest and care
Yes.
in the village, all of the children, whether
Yes.
you lived in an actual village, whether you lived in a subdivision or a development, wherever you lived, there definitely was an approach that the children, in the best, um and most holistic way, right, most wholesome way belong to all the
Mhm.
adults in
Mhm.
terms of the adults offering care. Yes,
Yes,
I'll take care of the children. I'll watch them for you till you get home. And you go by Auntie whoever's house. Let's
exactly.
say let's say Auntie Irma, Auntie Myrtle, one of them, right? Irma
Exactly.
Trude, Auntie
Exactly.
Irma Trude. And you go by Auntie's house and you get fed and
Yes.
taken care of,
Yes.
but not like you're a stranger.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel as if that's why tourists love going to the Caribbean, because they feel that energy of community and care and love, because it just exudes from us
Mhm.
as people. I
Yes.
do believe that's one of the reasons why tourists love to go to the Caribbean.
Yeah, yeah. And
Hmm.
so your background, I mean, you are a Mayo Clinic trained physician, which for those who know, like that is no small feat. It's no small feat for anyone. And you and I know as people who have, again, you've moved from the Caribbean and you've come over here.
Yes.
I believe it's harder, not because of any lack on our part, but because the system is just harder if you're not originally from here.
Yes.
And you
100.
get right?
Yes. It was a
You know,
complete culture shock for me.
well, tell us a little bit about that culture shock. I mean, we just talked about coming from Jamaica and the
Right.
village, how you're taken care of. So how did that change when you moved here?
Yes. So I moved here at 18 to start college.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, my mom and I moved together to Atlanta, Georgia. So I wasn't completely alone, and we had friends
Right.
and family in the area. But I was living on campus,
Mhm.
and it was different in so many ways. Number one, the food. Let's just say
Yes,
the
yes, yes,
food is
yes.
a big one, and then just the lack of understanding and awareness of different cultures based on the other people on campus.
Right.
So those remarks that, oh, you may live in a hut, or you smoke ganja, all of those things that people would say jokingly, but also because of their ignorance, right? They're
Yeah.
not knowing any better themselves. And so it was really, really difficult for me
Mhm.
to assimilate, so to speak,
Yeah.
within the college. But my Jamaican friend, Dr. Carrie Ann Peart, have to shout her out.
Yes. Hey, Carrie Ann.
She was a year ahead of me,
Hmm.
and she just beams in her authenticity wherever she goes. And she made me feel comfortable,
Hmm.
being a sister and being a yardie, uh,
Yes. Yes.
right? That, yes. So she welcomed me in, she showed me the ropes and everything. So that was life changing in and of itself, for her to be there as a guide as I
Yeah.
was trying to figure my way around in not only a new college but also a new country as well.
And thank goodness you had Carrie Ann, because so often we're just thrown in the
Yep,
deep end and we're by ourselves and just have to figure it out. And it
absolutely.
is it is super, super difficult.
It is.
So how did you I know a bit about your background, but of course our listeners don't. And so, whatever you care to share, I don't want to give away too much, but you have, like many of us, you've had some health challenges,
Mm,
and I believe that they have informed you sort of moving more so from being a, shall we say, pure physician
mm-hmm.
into being a coach.
Yes.
So, and the name of your coaching company is called Glow Coaching, and I absolutely love that name. I mean, what's not to love about that? But tell us a bit about what informed your move from, shall we say, leaving, deciding not to be a practicing physician and moving into coaching. What happened there? Because that sounds like a big life decision, moving into, okay, choosing a softer life, which is what this is all about.
Exactly.
Right. So tell
Exactly.
us. Tell
Yes.
us what you want to.
Absolutely. So, kind of going back to college, as I was
Mhm.
talking about my transition and assimilating the best that I could, in the second year of college, I was diagnosed with end stage chronic kidney disease.
Mm,
And I had one of two choices: start dialysis right away
mhm.
or receive a kidney transplant. So, at that time, the only option was to start dialysis.
Right.
And so I went through college on dialysis, went through medical school on dialysis, started residency at the Mayo Clinic. Yes, I know.
How? I have to ask this because, people, I don't. know about it. I literally only, whatever you've seen on, I don't know, Grey's Anatomy or whatever, right? Unless you
Right.
know somebody who is going through it. A lot of people don't know what the experience is like. But my
Yes.
impression is it takes a lot of time, and it is very it's exhausting. So
It,
is that in fact the case?
that is in fact the case. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy. And
Mm,
so when you're diagnosed, for anyone who's diagnosed with a medical condition, physical, mental, it's about accepting help. That is one of the biggest lessons I learned early on because I was, 19 at the time.
right.
And, as a teenager, you're in college, you want to gain your independence and do things. Exactly.
Hmm.
And so I learned that really early that accepting help
Hmm. Hmm.
was very important for me to continue on the journey of becoming a physician because I always knew that I wanted to become a physician and I always had that holistic lens too,
Right, right.
coming from the Caribbean, right?
Yeah. It's amazing to me, so many people, like you said, anybody in their teens. I usually, honestly, when we're in our teens, we don't have that much common sense. We think we're grown
I
and we're
think we know
not.
everything.
We
Mm-hmm.
think we know everything. So, I actually applaud you for being able to use the most developed part of your brain and think things through and realize, okay, I actually need help to do this and receive the help.
Yes.
And I applaud you for staying focused. I mean, that I can't even imagine. I know that cannot have been easy too, because med school, even for somebody who is, by Western standards, in the peak of health,
Mm-hmm.
med school can take people out. Med school is difficult.
Yep.
And
It is.
so, girl, I I don't know. That must be the magic of a Black woman, because I don't know how you did it. I'm glad that you did.
Four words:
Mm,
the grace of God.
the, there you go. Amen to that.
Yes.
The
So
grace of God.
being on a spiritual journey from a very early age and
Mm-hmm.
having my mother as my spiritual guide,
Mm,
I knew that being diagnosed with this condition, that was just what was on the surface. So think of an iceberg.
yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
want everyone to think about this. Whatever chaos might be going on in your life right now, that is what you are observing with your
Mm-hmm.
sight and with your feelings
Mm-hmm.
on the surface level of that iceberg.
Right.
But below the surface, the iceberg is so much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
there's a deeper and much deeper too below the surface. So there's a deeper reason why there is that thing that's going on within your life. So for
Right.
me, I know that I wasn't going to be focused on the problem, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
this diagnosis, but what is it rooted in? What is truly going on here? And I
Mm-hmm.
knew that one of the things for me was for me to deepen in my spiritual journey so that
Mm-hmm.
I can then serve and help other people, whether through being a doctor or otherwise. I don't know what the future held, but
Right.
I knew that I was supposed to go through this for a specific reason, and it
Mm-hmm.
was to trust more, to release and surrender more, to be guided more to where I'm supposed to be and for what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh wow. I absolutely love that. And I do thank God that you had the guidance, like you said, of your mom to help you see beneath the surface of the iceberg and see the deeper meaning. And speaking of deeper meanings versus the surface, right? The term glow up, we
Mm-hmm.
often think about it as, we see somebody's glowed up, all of a sudden they are out in public and they're doing media and they have, I don't know, the, face beat, the makeup, the
Yes.
handbag, the designer, this, the big car, etc., etc. Clearly, you see, you think of the glow as something different. The outside can happen. The
Correct.
outside can happen. There's nothing wrong with the outside, the external happening. But what is the lower part of the iceberg, what is beneath the surface, seems to mean more to you. So tell us, like, what does glowing from within or from under the surface, what does that look like? Right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you used your, not even used, but let's just use that phrase. You used your experience with your illness, right, to help you glow up. Now, people might not see it that way. They might
Right.
only see, as you said, they might only see, oh, dialysis, kidney issues, whatever. You're like, no, there's a deeper meaning, and this is what led me to my purpose. So,
Yeah.
yeah, tell us about the glow and what it really means beneath the surface.
Yes. I will tell you one thing first is that glow spells out my mom's name.
I was gonna ask, I was like, it seems so
That's why
neat.
it's
I was like,
always
does
come
this
to
mean
life.
something?
Yes. So it's spelled out my
Yes.
mom's name. So her name was Geraldine Lucinda Olive Waite. That's her name. So it literally spells out her name.
That.
Yes. And so it's almost like paying homage to her. It's like a legacy of what she has taught me, what I've grown through to then teach other people. So, we all know that there is a light within us, or we've all heard that statement.
Yes.
Are we living from that light within us? Right? Distractions can dim our light. Obstacles and challenges and problems, whatever you want to call them, worry, anxiety, depression, all of the things we cannot see with our physical eyes, but we feel.
Right.
Those things can dim our light, right? So it is all about allowing the wholeness of ourselves, our authentic selves, who we truly are, our true essence, to shine through and radiate to others to then impact the world. So the glow up that a lot of people are talking about, they're starting from the external. But
Right.
when you deal with the internal, that pours forth outwardly.
Yes. And effortlessly.
And that is it.
And
Easy
effortlessly.
and effortlessly.
Yeah. Because when you, something that we were speaking about just before we started the show was the word alignment, right? And when you are in alignment, that's something that made that weekend that we, again, the weekend of shenanigans, but it was such an experience of being in flow.
Yes.
Being in flow, experiencing the glow in real time.
Yes.
Experiencing and living in alignment. Everything was just easy. Everything was just blissful.
Yes.
And when people often don't realize things can be that way more frequently than they are. I'm not saying every day is going to be like that.
Right.
But it's possible to have more days like that when you are in alignment, when you are focusing on nurturing your radiance within.
100%.
Right?
And that's how I live my life. And that's why I love your book, Space to Exhale, because one of the ways in which you can align yourself is to be present in the moment. And one of the ways you can be present in the moment is to focus on the breath. When there is a lot of mental clutter going on, we experience confusion. We're not able to focus and concentrate. We're just in our thoughts and we're not in our soul, in our heart.
Yes.
We're up here all the time. But how can we just calm that down so we can center within ourselves and live from that?
Yes. And even though, I have never been your client officially, right? But you have definitely coached me before, right? And thank you again. And so I know that this is not just, I don't know, like sometimes it feels honestly, some people just become coaches because being a coach is trending, right?
There's a lot of out there.
There's a lot of that out there, but you meet certain coaches and this is actually their life's work and their purpose. And that is what I received from you, because it is not something that is light. It is not something that you take lightly. You think of it seriously. You are present. You are focused and centered when you are with a client. I just absolutely, in terms of like the times that you have advised me, or I would say coached me, I definitely had a great experience, and it was helpful. Like I felt more grounded afterwards. And that also comes, I believe, from, because you can know all of everything in the coaching playbook. You can
Right.
know that, but your spirit and energy and personality are really what are going to drive how people receive it.
100%. Because there's a difference between knowing and being.
Being,
Two
right?
different things.
Two different things,
Mhm.
which leads us nicely into, so I'm going to read an excerpt. Every episode I read an excerpt from the book. So I'm going to read an excerpt, and y'all, by the way, you're in for a treat, because a little later on, Kathryn is going to read an excerpt from the book as well, which I'm very excited about. But now we're talking about like being true to yourself and so on. I'm going to read an excerpt actually that you chose as well, Kathryn, from chapter 3. So I'll read this and then we'll come back and chat about it a little bit. So again, this is from chapter 3, Know Your Strengths, Focus. So, of all the lessons I've learned from Mama Bear, this might be the most important one. Be yourself. In a world that insists that we be as strident and extroverted as possible, she fully embraces and demonstrates the power of quietness. She fully embraces version. She is not a boisterous, belligerent, broad strokes person. She is serene, soft spoken, and stately. Oasis vibes. She's never the loudest person in a group, but rest assured, she will make the biggest impression. Instead of sucking all the air out of a room, she elevates the energy. She does not chase. Excuse me. Ooh, let me just take a little sip. Excuse me, y'all. I've been dealing with a cold. So I might, oh, excuse me. I might have to stop reading. Kathryn, I'm going to let you.
It?
Please, yes.
I will. All right. You take your sips of water if you need to. She does not chase, she attracts. Good people, good experiences, good fortune. She stands tall, radiating dignity and positive vibes, and folks are naturally drawn to her. She does not do drama. She vibrates at a level where drama never even enters her ambit. She embodies the energy of peace. Her stillness is one of her strengths. She refuses to be swayed by who anyone else thinks she should be. She shows up unapologetically as herself. Quiet or not, she definitely has main character energy. By modeling the beauty of being calm and quiet, she gave me permission to embrace my introversion and lean into pursuits that align with that trait. The lesson: do you. Be true to yourself. You don't have to be loud to be a leader. So good. So good. You're on mute. You're on mute. Chapter 3, page 69, just so you know. Go get the book. You're still on mute, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is better. I'm getting there. I don't know if I'm going to make it, girl. We'll see.
Maybe I can do more talking than you. Who knows?
Listen, because I have been battling a cold and a cough for the longest.
I see.
And so, of course, it happens now. It's okay. Fine.
It's very fine.
So let us continue. Mm-hmm. Because actually, I was very interested that you chose that excerpt.
Yeah.
Because, and this is the highest praise from me, you actually remind me a lot of my mom, who is one of my favorite human beings on the planet. And I say, like, her stillness is one of her strengths. I think that you have that quality as well, right? Of being still and that being one of your strengths. So what have you learned about the power of stillness in this world that so often wants us to be noisy and loud and moving all the time and hustling.
Mm-hmm. I will also say that when I read that excerpt, it reminded me of my mother as well. It really did. And so the working hard, being busy, proving ourselves, it's overrated. It's what we have been conditioned to learn, and that's what we think, that's how we need to show up. But in the stillness is where you're able to hear that silent voice, your intuition. You're able to feel that connection within yourself. You're able to feel that centering of yourself so that you can then show up in the way you really want to show up. But there's so many distractions that we have, right? Distractions in our relationships, distractions in our finances, distraction in our work. We could go on and on and on. And so one of the things that I do within my space is looking at the situation in a holistic way. And when I use the word holistic, I'm looking at the 8 dimensions of wellness.
Oh, do tell us more about the 8 dimensions of wellness.
So that includes your physical wellness, your spiritual, your mental, your intellectual wellness, your relational wellness, your occupational wellness, your environmental wellness, and your financial wellness.
Wow.
So we think we're intellectual beings,
Yes.
but we really think that we can separate our personal life from our occupation or our relationships. We try our best to separate them. But guess what the common denominator is? You. Exactly. So if we're able to understand, let's say, for example, you're not able to focus, right? You're just not able
which I understand very well. Yes. Strange how you would choose that one.
Out of all the things, right?
Out of all the things, but that's very true. Yes.
Right. But let us just take not being able to focus and let's spread that out and look at all the different dimensions, right? So let's just say mentally, I'm not able to focus maybe because I am anxious about something. Let's take physically, I'm not able to focus because I didn't get enough rest, right? Maybe I am worried about my finances or a relationship, right? But we're not putting those pieces of the puzzle together so that we're back. First of all, we're not pausing, back to stillness again. We're not pausing to ask ourselves the question. Guess what we're doing? We're pushing through. I have to do this and I'm going to do that. Here's the thing. When we are pushing, we're proving.
Ooh.
And when we're proving, we are saying without words that we don't know our worth.
And that we are not enough.
Exactly. So if we're able to pause in these moments to really just ask ourselves the question, maybe we don't get the answer right away, but we just pause in this stillness to exhale and ask ourselves the question, then we want to connect more within ourselves. We want to feel that connection more within ourselves.
Yes, for sure. And something else. I hope you're ready to read again because I'm about to.
I'm ready for you. I'm here for you.
Because something else that plays a big part in, that the real glow up and in showing up as ourselves is knowing our value system. We were talking about that a bit at the top of the show.
Yes.
And so you chose an invocation that I love. I'm so happy that you chose this, that you wanted to read. I'm so honored and grateful that you're going to read this for us. And so read it and then we'll come back and chat about it some more.
Wonderful. I will. All right. So this invocation is from chapter 2, Know Your Values Align. Most High, please sow seeds of strength within me. Strong boundaries, strong beliefs, strong values. Please sow seeds of goodness within me. Good thoughts, good deeds, good character. I pray for the blessing of honesty. May I mean what I say and say what I mean. I pray for the blessing of dignity. May I carry myself with honor and pride. I pray for constant integrity. May my thoughts, words, and actions always align. I pray for unshakable consistency. May I always be true to myself. May my mind, my life be in alignment with the light. May my actions reflect my values, and may my values be of the highest order. May my values serve as a constant North Star, guiding and easing my way through life forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. And of course, my question is, what made you choose that prayer? And it, like, is there a specific, like one or two lines that stand out to you most? Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yes. So it revolves around the theme of alignment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that it was under the chapter of knowing your values.
Yeah.
Those two things that are so important to me. And, as high achieving women, it's so important for us to connect with our values on a daily basis based on the decisions that we make. So, for example, the next time someone asks you to do something, ask yourself this question: does it align with my values, or am I trying to prove something?
Ooh, that's a deep one. To be able to take the time, first of all, to take the time to pause.
Yes.
Instead of saying an immediate yes, which I definitely, that's something that I struggle with. But taking the time to pause and ask yourself that question.
Yes. Does it align with my values? Or am I just doing this to prove something?
Yes.
Yes.
Because a lot of us think that saying yes to everything, or which really, if you say yes to everything, then that definitely seems to me like people pleasing.
Yes.
But it's almost as if, especially women, we have been conditioned and socialized to say yes, to almost like deny ourselves anything and everything, any grace, any rest, anything of that nature, because our role, in air quotes, our role as women is only to serve. Now, there's nothing wrong with service. I believe in service, like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
I believe in it, and I think it's part of that. Every human being should ideally be involved in some form of service, whatever that looks like. There are myriad ways, but your sole purpose in life is not and cannot be to serve others. It can't it can't be your only thing. It could be a big thing, it could be a main thing, but it can't be your only thing. But if that's how you get your value, if that's how you perceive yourself as being valuable, I'm only valuable if I'm doing something for someone else.
Yes. I love that you said it just like that.
Yeah. That's where the problems start.
That is where the problem starts, because again, it's the word doing that you mentioned. I'm doing something for someone else versus the being.
How am I showing up? How am I being in this moment? How am I showing up for myself?
Exactly.
How am I responding? Am I responding from fear and obligation, or from a place of alignment?
100%. And when we are able to lead from within, we are leading as true leaders.
Yes.
Because again, it starts from the inside out.
Yeah.
But when we think of leadership, we think of leadership as leading other people. But who do we have to lead first? Ourselves. We're missing that part out. How are we leading ourselves from within in order to then show up to serve other people and lead others well?
Mm.
And that's
I
something
don't
that
think a lot of
we
people think of that. Honestly, I
yeah,
think people definitely think of leadership as an external activity.
correct. Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
that's why my focus is on wellness centered leadership. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that is not spoken about enough, and it's so important for us to align with our values and our vision
Yeah.
and not serve at the cost of our well-being.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're able to really feel wholesome within ourselves, trust me, we are showing up as true leaders because we've started from the inside. It
Mm.
automatically reflects out. Think of a tree, right? Where did the tree start from? A seed.
Yeah.
Planted in the soil that has been nurtured and watered over time. It has now grown lovely, lush, and healthy roots to
Yeah.
allow the trunk now to stand tall and now
Mm-hmm.
have branches and leaves. But all we're looking at is the tree.
Not the seed that started it all,
Exactly.
because there's no tree without that
Without it.
foundational seed. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. So wait. So how do you, as a coach,
Yeah.
help your clients, those who are not in alignment? And people can be, let's just say, in alignment at times and then fall out of alignment. Life is always lifing,
Mhm.
right? So if you have a client that needs to get back in alignment and needs to identify their values, the values that anchor them, like how do you do that? How do you help them get back to a point of centeredness and softness and alignment?
Yes. Where do I start? Okay.
That's a big question. That could be a show by itself.
Literally could be our show, but I'm going to give
Yeah.
some. Okay. Number one is awareness. If you don't know where you're starting from, you're not going to have a clear vision as to where you want to be. So you have to be mindful of the thoughts that you're thinking, the limitations of beliefs that you have. How are you currently showing up so that you can catch yourself to ask yourself, is this 100% of my true essence or not? That is number one, is awareness. And so I take them through a process of how to do that, right? So that's one of the things. The other thing that I do is to get centered and clear the mind with mindfulness practices, one of which is breathing, right? So this is just so appropriate to be on this podcast with you because I absolutely love your book and what you're doing.
Thank you.
We have to get centered. And I love that you start each and every podcast with the breath to,
Oh,
to create that space for people
yeah.
to connect more within themselves that way. It is so crucial. That's how I start off my sessions. I do a meditation, a breathing meditation with them. So
I
it
love.
is so aligned that you do that on your podcast.
Yes, yes. The breathing is so important. And what I love about it is it basically is accessible to everyone, right? Everyone can do it. You don't have to go and dress up sexy to go to the gym
Correct.
and
Correct.
feel right or feel uncomfortable or whatever it happens to be, or try to hide yourself in the back of a class because it's your first time. You
Yes.
can just breathe, and you can do it wherever. You could be commuting on a train. You
Mm,
could be, obviously in your home or whatever. You can just be walking, and as you're walking, slow and regulate your breath. And so
mm.
it's accessible, and anytime, especially if you're feeling anxious or something of that nature, it really does help
It
to,
does.
yeah, yeah,
Use
yeah,
the tool that God gave you. The
yes.
breath of life. We're not breathing enough.
Hmm.
We should be breathing like how the babies breathe, right?
Yes, nice
And
and deep. Like let your belly relax.
yes, so that you
Your-
can actually expand your
Yes.
your lungs more to
Hmm.
get more oxygen in your
Hmm.
body.
Hmm.
Yes. So that's the second thing that I would say. And then the third thing, which is why I loved the last excerpt that I read, is what are your core values?
Yeah, yeah.
And are you living from your core values, or you just know them and you just doing over here, right? What are your core values? And are your actions in alignment with those core values?
Yes.
I have an
Yes.
alignment audit that I share with people, and
Oh,
it's
fab.
100% free. So if anyone wants to gain access to that, just DM me. But you're able to score yourself, so to speak, in different aspects of your life to see, okay, taking the time to pause. How
Yes.
aligned am I with my core values? How aligned am I in my relationships? Do I have a clear vision for my life and so forth? Because the vision, doing a vision board is wonderful.
Hmm. Hmm.
However,
And very useful, but
very useful.
Mhm.
But again, we need to go deeper than that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is your vision aligned with your values?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then how are you going to then take aligned action from there? So it's a process.
Yeah. Yeah. And action. What I love about a vision board or things of that nature is that they work on a subconscious level.
Mm-hmm.
And so because honestly sometimes it can feel like I'm doing all these things, I'm breathing, I'm doing this and all these 5,000 things, you're waking up at 4:45 in the morning to do all these things, and nothing wrong with it, but it can feel like a lot, right? To be honest. But what I love, about the breathing and about vision boards is that once you've done the vision board, it's just up there. You look at it, you bypass it, wherever you put it, on your fridge, on your wall, on a mirror, whatever. And it works on the subconscious level. But you're right. You absolutely have to follow up. It's again, the under the surface work in combination with the external visible work, right?
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
and you absolutely need both.
Yeah.
So the vision board, yes, but you have to, like you said, you absolutely have to turn that into, one of my favorite um phrases, the faith without works is dead, right? So it's a similar thing. You have the faith, but where are the works? We're not seeing show you're working, like how they would tell us in school, show you're working. Where are the works?
Exactly. You have to show up, and it's how
Yeah.
you're showing up that's important as well. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. How you show up matters.
Yes.
And so back I want to go back a little bit to um we were talking about caring for others, about serving. That's been a theme
Mhm.
that's come up a
Mhm.
few times.
Mhm.
And so, and I believe in reciprocity,
Mhm.
right?
Me too.
Now, how does one show up for others and pour back into people that maybe have poured into you, right? How do
Mhm.
you do that in a way that is healthy, that is genuinely reciprocal as opposed to out of obligation,
Mhm.
right? And how do you do it without depleting yourself?
Right. Very, very good question. I love this question.
Good.
Yeah, this is where the stillness and the quietness comes into play,
Hmm. Hmm.
because when you're able to listen to the guidance within you,
Hmm.
then you will be guided as to what to do, but nobody's doing that. So people might think that sounds really nice and everything.
Right.
Sounds nice for me to say it,
That
but
sounds great, but
yeah, but I teach what I live.
Mm,
I teach what I live. And so, for example, I make sure that in the morning time, just giving you another tip, is that in the morning time, that's a great way to start the day with intention on your
yes,
terms, right? So you're
yes,
not rolling over in bed, attending to kids, or you're not rollovering in bed and then looking on your
at
phone.
your phone, right?
About knowing and taking responsibility for your life, and knowing that you have the power within you to make the decisions that are going to elevate your life. So to answer your question, it is really for me to go within and really get the answer within, because I know that, and the reciprocity is so important, but it might not look like the way you think you should. It's when
Exactly.
the should comes in that is not being guided. That is
Yeah.
you trying the shoulds and the trying. That is you, the ego taking over.
That's the ego taking over, for sure, for
That's the
sure.
ego
And
taking over.
I don't even like, I can't even blame people because, people can be weird, right? And so I don't even blame you. Like, sometimes somebody helps you and you think that they're just helping you, and it turns out that,
Yeah. Yeah.
they feel they own you after they've helped you, or whatever it happens to be.
Right. Yes.
So sometimes we've
Yeah.
experienced that. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, please go.
I have something else that is huge.
Yes.
That if you're able to be guided by this, then everything will fall into place, no matter what somebody else says or does. And that is just the word trust. If you can trust to know that everything is working out in your favor, exactly how it's supposed to work out underneath the surface,
Mm-hmm.
whatever anyone says or does, that's not your business. That has to do with them and their hurt and their drama within themselves that they have to deal with. Now, if you take it on, then that's your business,
Right.
right? But I will also say that if that is coming into your experience, that is something for you to learn from.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
So everybody's a teacher in our lives, right? So if there's somebody that annoys us or does us well, they're still teaching us something. That's why they're in our lives and not necessarily in somebody else's life. So,
And also I find the quicker you can either realize or remember that, it actually changes how you approach.
Yep.
Well, even people that, as you said, you might experience as difficult, or you might not like how you feel around them, or you might not enjoy the experience.
Yes.
But if you can stop yourself and think, okay, this person whom I don't feel comfortable around, but they are here to teach me something. If, again, taking that time to pause and think, what might they be here to teach me?
Yes.
Have I encountered this kind of person, this kind of relationship, this kind of experience before? Is this popping up again? Right?
Yes.
Same script, different cast.
Yes.
And if so, what pattern is it maybe that I have to address and learn from and dismantle in order to not experience this again?
Correct. Or if that comes up again, then your response is different.
Yes. Yeah. Because I find when you do get into these, because, and I think it basically happens to everyone. You realize, wait, either this is the same relationship with a different person, or whatever, right? The same friendship with a different friend, that kind of thing. But when you, let's say the first time it happens, let's say it might be a 3-year relationship. The next time it happens, it might be a 1.5-year relationship. The next time you might be 1 weekend and think, yeah, this is not working. And then it might not happen again. Because you have learned, you have learned to identify, you've learned to trust yourself, you've learned to trust your gut early. That says, I don't think this is right for me, and just move on. Right? Yeah. So
and there's also a slight difference between avoiding and knowing when to step away from something.
Yes. There is a line.
There is a line. So you have to begin with yourself. Right? And a lot of I'm doing emotional fitness coaching right now. I'm in that process of doing that. And one of the theories is that from birth to around age 10, we've all been exposed to at least one emotional injury, whether that might be a loss of a parent or a loved one. It might be maybe some sort of abuse. It could be, right? It doesn't have to be anything big, right? Or it could be abandonment of a parent.
Right.
And so because we came into the world loving and being loved and being safe, and then this emotional injury has happened, now and we haven't healed from that, now our beliefs, our actions, our behaviors that we have developed over time is how we show up as adults. So when we do experience the same thing over and over, it's really a trauma response, so to speak, or an emotional injury that we haven't healed.
Right. Because almost like on a subconscious level, It's
Correct.
almost like there's a script running, like on a computer. There's a script running in the background that
Right.
you're not aware of, and it's making it, the script is making things happen, so to speak.
And you believe the script. So the
You
script
believe the script.
over
Yes.
and over again.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. So,
Mm-hmm.
so speaking of dealing with difficult people, dealing with difficult experiences and so on. So we're talking about soft living, but soft living, it sounds serene, and it is serene, but it is not always necessarily easy to experience and achieve, because again, life is going to life, people are going to people, right? So how do you maintain your glow, maintain your alignment, and live softly? Let's say if you're experiencing grief or stress or illness, fear, uncertainty, like how do you maintain your glow in the midst of experiences like that?
Mm. So I've really developed my trust muscle over time. And I'll give you an example. I was in residency and experiencing a lot of anxiety, not just during residency, but for majority of my life, right? Hidden anxiety. Maybe a lot of people can relate to, right? Or even hidden depression, right? But I had the anxiety, and I paused to ask myself, why am I feeling anxious to go and present this thing in front of people that I do know? Right?
Yes.
What's really going on there? And what I realized is, oh, I'm not trusting myself. Where's that coming from? Then I linked it with, oh, my father wasn't around.
Wow.
And then I realized, oh, my father wasn't around so that I could learn to trust the real father more.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right? So it was this journey of understanding what's really going on and trusting. So the way how I glow is to connect and center myself with who I truly am. And when circumstances come up, I'm not just looking at the surface. So I don't see things as a problem. I call it a challenge because it doesn't sound negative.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. I like that.
Yeah. And so I understand that there's something deeper going on. So I don't look at the problem, which is a distraction from what I'm supposed to learn from this. Right?
That takes so much mental discipline, though.
It does. It does take practice. Right? This is not something that I've learned overnight. But the point is that we can live differently. We can live differently. And if we understand and know that, then we're on the path. But if we think that the way that we're currently living is the only way, then that's true for you because that's what you believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And so kind of going back to what you were talking about with, people that come up in our lives that may disrupt our lives, so to speak. Because I know that they're hurting within themselves, I can give them compassion.
Yes.
I can give them unconditional love. I may not necessarily say it to them.
We can love from a distance.
I love from a distance with a lot of people.
Yes, which is okay. It is okay to do that. Yes.
It is. It is your right to do that. But there's a difference between doing that and then avoiding, again, kind of that fine line between the two. But it is really understanding what we've been talking about is that what we're seeing with our eyes, what we are experiencing with our five senses is not the full picture.
That is a key takeaway. That is a key takeaway. What we're seeing with our five senses is not the whole picture. And that gets back to the iceberg, right? It gets back to the iceberg because you think you're seeing the entire iceberg. And actually what is below the surface typically is much larger than what shows above the surface.
Yeah.
And so we think that we're seeing, I don't know, let's say a person who is, in our view, mistreating us or whatever. And that, not saying that that's not happening.
Right.
What also could be happening, like you said, is that they're in pain and they are disconnected from self, and they maybe don't have a relationship with a higher power, or they're all kinds of things.
Correct.
Now, that doesn't mean that one has to stay around while they figure all that out, but
Correct.
it does allow you, hopefully, to lead with some compassion and empathy.
Right, because it's those two pieces that we were
Yeah,
mentioning, right?
yeah,
Understanding that they're coming from a hurt place, giving them
right.
compassion, not condoning what they're doing, two different things.
Mm-hmm,
Just want to
mm-hmm,
mention that. But
mm-hmm.
also, okay, this person is in my experience. I'm supposed to learn something. I'm supposed to grow
Yes,
from this
yes.
experience as well, right?
Mm-hmm,
Again, that is why you're in each other's experience.
mm-hmm.
It's for a specific reason, and
Right.
it's for you to be open to what that lesson is and
Yeah.
to go through.
There's also a way. I know we're about to go over time, but that's okay. That's okay. People are gonna keep hanging, and this is if you can hang a little bit, right? But there's so much to be learned if you can take a pause, and if you can ask why something is happening, not from a woe is me, oh, why is this happening to me? And fine, listen, have that breakdown, meltdown moment, right?
Right.
And then get yourself together,
Mm-hmm.
right? And ask a different why, or ask it from a different place,
Mm-hmm.
not from a place of self-pity or whatever it happens to be, but more so from a place of true inquiry and asking God or who or whatever you believe in, why God, why is this happening? What do you want from me in this circumstance? What would you advise me to do in this circumstance? How can I best represent you in this situation? And
100.
like you said before, what can I learn? You're trying to make me into a better human being. What do you want me to learn?
Mm-hmm.
So asking those why questions, but in a different way.
Right. Or another way you could ask it is, how can I evolve from this?
Ooh, yes.
Then taking the time to pause to receive the answer. Right. So no, why, what, how? Ask the question
Mhm, mhm,
and be open
mhm.
to receive the answer. That is the part that we miss, right?
Yes. The quiet, the pause, the stillness, the because taking that pause itself is a form of self-care, because you don't go to the doctor, right? You go to the doctor, you fly in the room, right? And the doctor is trying to help you. You're talking over the doctor. The doctor says, I suggest you do ABC. And you say, really? Okay, thanks. I don't think so. And you walk out. You don't take the prescription, you don't take the medicine, you don't take the advice, you don't go and see the physical therapist, whatever it happens to be,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you have gone to the doctor to ask for answers. The doctor gives you answers and advice, and you reject all of it,
Yeah.
you know? And so it's not a perfect analogy, but it is similar, because
It's a
you
good
don't
one.
ask, thank you, you don't ask for help, and then the help comes and they reject the help. It's like, that tale about the guy who is stranded on an island, and he keeps asking God for help. God, please save me. God, please save me. God, please save me. And eventually God gets impatient, like, look, I sent a boat, I sent a submarine, I sent a raft, I sent a helicopter.
Yeah.
What I sent all these things, and we refuse to take the help that I sent.
Yes, because we want the help in a specific way, and
Yes.
because it did not show up in the exact way we want to receive it, then we discount everything else and we miss out on the multiple opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and so sometimes pause to put yourself in a state of receiving, so that you can get the answers and the guidance that you've asked for. That is extremely, extremely important.
Yes.
And so we're going to close soon. I have two more short questions. Just two more. So first one is, when people, future generations, right, especially of like young West Indian women like ourselves, right, when future generations look back at your work,
Mm.
what do Dr. Kathryn Tapper, what do you want, and coach Kathryn Tapper, what do you want people to remember, especially now that you are in your soft living self-care era, which apparently you've been in since the age of 19? But what do you want people to remember or take away from your work?
I like how you said it that way,
Mhm.
because I've thought about, I've listened to podcasts and so forth, and they say, what do you want to be remembered by? And so I asked myself that question. And my answer for myself was, I'm okay if I'm not remembered. I'm okay
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not remembered. It's the work that I do. It
Yes.
is the raising of consciousness, right? The thing that we cannot see.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
is that is what I'm bringing to the world,
Mm.
right? And doing it through the work of glow coaching and so forth. So the work that I'm doing is it's beneath the iceberg. It's above it, but the deeper work is beneath it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Because
So
yes, yes, absolutely. Your clients
something,
come to you with a presenting issue.
right?
Well, what's beneath that?
Exactly. So the main thing for my work is feeling that connection with your true essence
Mm-hmm.
so that you can show up in an aligned and authentic way to
Mm-hmm.
lead your life with more simplicity, more ease, more effort. It's almost like you're living as if there is magic, so to speak.
I love that.
You can't even believe that you're making all of these connections or life is just flowing this easily when there is drama and chaos going on around you, but you're not taking part in it because you know who you are
Yes.
and you're showing up as that.
Yes. 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 Okay, so thank you for that. And final question before we go. Um, do you have a, I don't know, a few words, a prayer, an affirmation, something that you could speak over us, everybody who is listening, who is weary and maybe disconnected from self, but they are ready to reclaim their glow and live the real glow up? Can you leave us with a few beautiful words?
Absolutely. Repeat within yourself as you hear this. I am an aligned woman, here to express my true essence with ease, with flow, with abundance, with health. I am safe. I'm supported. I am healed. I am loved. I am protected. I have a light within me that is ready to glow and impact the world. And I understand the assignment of alignment.
Amen to that. Thank you so, so much. My good friend, Dr. Kathryn Tapper. This was everything I thought it would be and more. You know, I love that my jacket matches your room. Side note.
I'm loving it too.
Right. We're coordinating.
Yeah.
So, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you for blessing us with your wisdom and for blessing me personally with your Jamaican accent. I don't get to hear many. So I love when my West Indian folks are, are on the show and I can hear a little island vibe. So thank you for sharing that. And thanks for the work you do, right, with glow coaching, because it is so needed, especially right now with what the world is going through. So thank you very much. And folks, that is the end of today's episode of Space to Exhale, the podcast. Tune in every Tuesday live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook to catch the vibes. And if you want to dive deeper into what Dr. K Tap and I discussed today, definitely go follow her on LinkedIn, follow her all the places. I will put them in the show notes for you. So make sure that you connect with her, book a session. Trust me, trust me, trust me. You will not be disappointed. Trust me. I've been there. I've actually experienced her coaching. It's a beautiful thing. And of course, definitely get a copy of my book. That's where the excerpts are from. Yay, Dr. Kathryn. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right. Get a copy of Space to Exhale. And if you feel called to, drop a review. And so that is it for today. Thank you so much. And remember, you are worthy of rest, you are worthy of love, and you are worthy of having time and space to exhale. Bye, and I'll see you next week.